You wake up. For 1 second, maybe two, you know exactly where you've been. There was a place, a face you recognized, a feeling that filled your whole chest, and a story that made perfect sense while you were standing inside it. Then, you reach for it, and it's gone. By the time your feet touch the floor, it has dissolved. By breakfast, you couldn't tell anyone what it was about. You spent roughly 2 hours last night living inside vivid, detailed worlds. You will remember almost none of it. Think about how strange that is. Your brain built an entire universe in the dark. People, places, conversations, rules that bent in ways that should have startled you awake, but didn't. It did this for free, every 90 minutes, all night long. And then, on purpose, it threw the whole thing away. You forget names, you forget where you put your keys, but this is a different kind of forgetting. This is fast. This is total. This is a memory being erased almost in the same instant it is made. Why would a brain that spent millions of years learning to hold on be so good at letting this one thing go? Hold on to that question, because the answer underneath it is not the one people believed for most of human history. Science still argues about the details, but the shape of it is far stranger than you just have a bad memory. Start with the moment of waking itself, because that is where the whole mystery lives. Inside your sleeping brain, there is a chemical called norepinephrine. You can think of it as the brain's save signal. It is the messenger that leans over your memory system and says, "This one matters, write it down, keep it." During the dreaming stage of sleep, the stage scientists call REM, that chemical almost completely switches off. Your brain is awake enough to dream, it is not awake enough to record. That is the first clue. The lights are on, but no one is filming. Robert Stickgold, a sleep researcher at Harvard Medical School, has spent decades studying exactly this gap. He describes the dreaming brain as a theater running a full performance with the cameras unplugged. The show is real, the footage simply never exists. So when you wake and feel a dream slipping through your fingers, you are not losing a recording. You are realizing there was never a recording to begin with. Now go deeper, because the chemistry is only half of it. Deep inside your brain sits a small, curled structure shaped like a seahorse. It is called the hippocampus, and it is the part that turns a passing moment into something you can call back tomorrow. It takes the raw experience and files it where the rest of your mind can reach it. During REM sleep, the line between the hippocampus and the rest of the brain goes strangely quiet. The dream plays, the filing cabinet stays shut. So the dream happens in a kind of sealed room, vivid inside, sealed off from the part of you that keeps things. This is why those first few seconds after you open your eyes decide everything. If you wake directly out of a dream, the save signal floods back on while the images are still hanging in the air, and you manage to grab a handful before they fade. Wait 60 seconds, roll over, check the time, think about your day. Reach for the dream then, and there is nothing left to hold. Matthew Walker, the sleep scientist at the University of California, Berkeley, has pointed out that we lose most of a dream within minutes of waking and the rest soon after. The window is not a metaphor. It is a real closing door, and most mornings you walk straight through it without noticing. So now you have a clue and a bigger clue. The chemistry is off, the filing system is closed, but that still only explains how the dream disappears. It does not explain why a brain would be built this way on purpose, and that is the part that should keep you up. Because evolution is not careless with the brain. It is the most expensive organ you own. It burns a fifth of your energy doing almost nothing visible. A machine that costly does not run a 2-hour performance every single night for your entire life by accident. Something is happening in there, something the forgetting is hiding. For a long time, the most famous answer came from Vienna. Sigmund Freud looked at this same mystery over a century ago and gave an answer that still echoes in how people talk about dreams. He said you forget your dreams because some part of you wants to. The dream, he argued, is full of buried wishes too dangerous to face, and waking life slams the door on them to protect you. You forget because you are hiding something from yourself. It's a beautiful story. It feels true. It gives the forgetting a motive, a secret, a reason. For decades, it was the answer everyone reached for. It is also almost certainly wrong. When researchers actually went looking for evidence that we selectively erase the dreams that disturb us most, they didn't find it. People forget their pleasant dreams just as fast. They forget the boring ones, the strange ones, the ones about nothing at all. The erasing isn't picky. It isn't protecting you from a secret. It is doing something far more ordinary and far more important. So if the forgetting isn't shame and it isn't a flaw, what is it? In 1983, 2 scientists asked the question from a completely different angle. One of them was Francis Crick, the man who helped uncover the structure of DNA. Alongside the mathematician Graham Mitchelson, he proposed something that sounds almost backwards at first. What if forgetting the dream is not the failure? What if forgetting is the entire point? Their idea went like this. All day, your brain takes in oceans of information. Most of it is noise. Random links form between memories that should never be connected. Overload builds, and like any overloaded network, the brain needs to clean itself out, to weaken the junk connections so the useful ones can stand clear.
They suggested that this is part of what dreaming does. The brain runs the bad connections one last time in order to mark them for deletion. In their words, you dream in order to forget. Sit with that. The dream may not be a message to remember. It may be the sound of the brain taking out the trash. This is where the neuroscience meets them halfway. Robert Stickgold and others have shown that sleep is when your brain sorts the day. It replays what happens, decides what is worth keeping, strengthens the memories that matter, and lets the rest fade. The dream, in this view, is not a story your mind is telling you. It is what the sorting feels like from the inside, glimpsed for a moment as the machinery runs. And you are not supposed to keep what the machinery is throwing out. That changes the whole feeling of the mystery, doesn't it? The vanished dream is not a loss. It is a sign the system worked. Every morning you forget, your brain has just finished a night of deciding who you are going to be, quietly, without asking you, keeping the threads that serve you and cutting the ones that don't. The forgetting is the housekeeping. The clean room you wake up in is the gift. So the bug was never a bug. The erasing is the brain protecting its own clarity, the way you empty your pockets at the end of a long day. But hold on, if that were the whole story, it would be tidy, and dreams are never tidy, because some dreams refuse to leave. There are dreams you had as a child that you can still describe down to the color of the sky. There are nightmares that surface for years. There are mornings you wake with a feeling you can't name and can't shake, a residue with no image attached to it. If the brain is so good at clearing the trash, why does it sometimes hand a piece of it back? Why do a few dreams survive the deletion that takes all the others? Deirdre Barrett, who studies dreams at Harvard, has shown that the dreams which break through tend to be the ones loaded with emotion, the ones that solved a problem, the ones that mattered in a way the others didn't, as if the sorting system, in the middle of throwing everything away, occasionally stops, looks at one, and decides this one stays. No one fully understands how it chooses. That decision is being made inside you, tonight, about a world you haven't even visited yet. And here is the part that lingers. Every single night, you live a full life you will never remember. You feel things in it. You meet people in it. You are for hours completely somewhere else, certain it is real. Then you wake, and the brain that built it gently wipes it clean, and you carry on as if the night were empty. You have done this thousands of times. You will do it again tonight and again tomorrow, an entire parallel existence running just beneath this one, leaving almost nothing behind but a feeling you can't place over your morning coffee. So when you wake tomorrow and feel a dream slip away before you can name it, don't reach so fast to be sad about it. Your brain isn't betraying you. It is finishing a job it has done flawlessly your whole life, clearing the room so you can think. But it does keep a few. It always keeps a few. And no one can quite say why those. So which kind are you? The one who wakes with nothing, every clean morning a blank page, or the one who keeps dragging fragments back into daylight, half a face, a staircase, a feeling? And if the forgetting is really the brain taking out the trash, then the dreams yours keeps handing back to you, the ones that won't leave, the ones you still remember years later, what exactly is it trying to make sure you don't throw away?